Hello, 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 hello.
What's up, butt chuggers? And
Welcome back.
this is the Brohio podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, the delicious Nicolicious.
I'm the other guy, Rob.
It's not going to be a very good show because Mick Foley fell on the ground.
I know.
Funko Pop. I just found him on the ground. So that's
Anytime McFoley takes a huge dive, it's going to be a great event.
absolutely. And speaking of me never losing my virginity, earlier this week I paid $50.
It finally happened.
Secure my meet and greet with Bret the Hitman Hart
Oh yeah,
in Dayton, Ohio.
yeah.
And I was going to reach out to those guys and be like, hey, I'll do a plug if you'll let me do an interview with Bret the Hitman Hart. But he's a grumpy old fucker, and I don't know if I necessarily want to talk to him.
Yeah, I want to go, but I'm going to be out of town, so I can't.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my belt and get it signed in gold Sharpie.
So it blends right in.
Gold Sharpie. If you've never listened to the Brohio podcast before and you want to skip to the meat and the potatoes of the content, I would go to about the 13 or 15 minute mark.
Give or take.
Get past all the hubbubalub. All of us, Rob and I talk about a bunch of stupid shit that doesn't fucking matter.
No, nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
You're wasting your time right now.
You're absolutely wasting your time. But thanks for wasting your time with us.
Yeah, you could be doing something even worse, like taking care of your kids or working.
Masturbating with a mouthful of Cheetos. Yeah. Unless you've already done that today,
Hey,
like me, then you don't need to do it again.
I'm not ashamed to have Cheeto fingers, so it's all right.
Let's move on to our Patreon subscribers, Rob Dog.
Let's fucking plug them up, buddy.
First off, we have old Ben Mendoza. Ben Mendoza, we thank you very much, brother.
Jesse Sperling, thank you.
Sarah. I love when people just use first names.
I know, it's so great. Terrence Hockup.
That's not a hiccup. That's a hiccup. That's a cock hiccup.
Oh,
And then old Carrie Taylor, she was at the Louisville live show with her husband. Very handsome man. Looks like he could probably fucking put either one of us in bed and get it done if he wanted to. Thank you, Carrie.
sign me up.
Thank you, Carrie, for your Patreon pledge.
And a clever way to get a plug, we got the Silent K podcast.
Go check out the Silent K podcast. Write them an email, thesilentKpod@gmail.com. Blow it up. Send them all kinds of pictures of your asshole. Send them pictures of your balls. Women, do not send pictures of your body because it is a beautiful temple and you don't deserve that kind of fucking nonsense.
We're sorry.
Guys only. Send them emails of really bad stuff. Next, we have
Don't do that.
Elizabeth. No, please do it. Elizabeth Blackney. Blackney. I think she's an Indian. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for your sacrifice to our country, Elizabeth Blackney.
Next up, we got Rambo Stanley.
Good name.
Thank you, Rambo.
And then one of our old buddies from school, old
Yeah.
Scotty Ray. Scotty Ray, thank you for your Patreon pledge, and thanks for not giving us wedgies in high school.
Rihanna Romero. Thank you.
Thank you, Rihanna. And old Joey Savoy. Joey Savoy?
Or
That's
Savoy.
Savoy? That's a hot
Yeah.
fucking name, bro.
That is.
I'll suck your dick.
It's very Jersey. Next, we got Trizzy Cop Out. Okay.
He's from the old Butt Chuggers Anonymous. If you want to join our closed group, Brohio Podcast closed group, Butt Chuggers Anonymous,
Don't do it.
the password is Bill Wilkins.
He comes around every once in a while.
Go check it out. And next, we got Tekken.
All right.
Old Tekken, touch your balls. Thank you, Tekken.
And last but definitely not least, we have Dawn Griffin. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your Patreon pledges. If you'd like to hear some of our bonus content,
Ooh.
go to patreon.com/Brohio Podcast. $5 gets you the bonus content. $1 gets you a shout out. If you want your own episode, just like today, this is a Patreon sponsored episode, sponsored by Josh Kitchen. We have a tier for that as well. Go check that out.
Get on over there. It's fun on the bun, son.
We had about 1 million people send us the same article this week. My wife even sent me the article.
Oh, okay.
But the first person that sent us the article was Stacy Hawks. Like a hawk.
Okay.
And I saw her. She looks like the fucking pigeon lady from Home Alone. I said, wow,
No,
why is
you
this
can't
lady,
say that.
why is this lady writing us an email? And she's like, I got a funny no, she doesn't look like that at all. Extremely nice girl. She does not look like that. So for those of you that jerk off to Home Alone like I do, don't look too much into that. And Rob, you probably saw this article on the interwebs this week.
I'm sure I did.
A 46-year-old woman and her 25-year-old son were arrested after a series of incidents at a Wisconsin Walmart.
You always know the article's going to be good when it's revolving around a Walmart.
A Wisconsin Walmart.
Right.
That's really too close to Canada for anything to not be fucked up. Honestly.
Smells like cheese and beer farts in there.
Yeah. According to the Eau Claire, how do you pronounce that? EAU, Eau Claire Police Department.
I'd say Eau Claire.
Eau Claire Police Department, Lisa Smith and her son, Benny Van,
Okay.
different last names, mom and son, entered their local Walmart on Wednesday night along with Smith's dog, Bobo. No, that's Bobo, who was not on a fucking leash. Bobo ran away from his owner, and rather than chase after him, Smith proceeded to dismantling store displays and putting them in her shopping cart. When Walmart employees asked Miss Smith to leave the store, she complied, and police officers later found her standing in the store entrance calling for her dog. Hey, Bobo, get your dumb ass back here, Bobo. What kind of dog do you think Bobo was?
I'm sure it's some kind of mutt.
It was a Boston Terrier for sure.
It's a Boston Terrier.
Yeah. However, between being asked to leave and the arrival of the police, Smith allegedly went into the parking lot to perform karate moves. And this is the old fucking lady. This is not the son inside. This is the old woman. Those moves were later put on display as Smith resisted arrest. Get your nasty fucking hands off me, you son of a bitch. The All Clear police said she also, quote, attempted to kick out a window on the squad car as officers took her into custody.
Well, she knows karate.
Yeah, I'll kick this window out with my pussy lips. I got him swinging like an old roast beef sandwich. Will knock this window out. I don't need my feet. I'll kill everybody in this police cruiser. Smith was charged with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and misdemeanor bail jumping.
All right.
I thought it said ball jumping. I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun.
Oh, that's a
Must
different
have
story.
Kicked someone right in the fucking nuts. The department said that Van this is Benny Van. He's the son inside. Not Mini Van. This is Benny Van. He's inside. He's the son inside.
Okay.
Proceeded to the back of the store where he removed all of his clothes, exposing himself to customers in the store. Afterward, Van took clothes from the racks of clothing inside the Walmart store and clothed himself, but did not move to pay for the items as he left. The cats are going fucking wild over there.
I can hear that. Sounds like they're fighting.
When officers asked Van to stop, he attempted to run over a policeman with the scooter he was riding. It's got a full battery. You better get the fuck out of the way. According to the release, the responding officer stopped the scooter and arrested Van for lewd and lavish. Okay, I've known this word before, but I don't know it anymore. So, for lewd behavior, disorderly conduct, and retail theft. Meanwhile, Bo attempted to leave the store. This is Bobo, the dog, not the fucking son. This is the dog. This is the Boston Terrier. Attempted to leave the store with a box of Jiffy corn mix. Corn muffin mix. Get your ass back here. But was apprehended by officers. Rather than be charged for theft, the department said Bobo was issued a warning and taken to the local humane society, where he was later euthanized. That didn't happen. I made that part up. That dog is better off dead. I saw these fucking people. They look stupid as shit. The incident is just one of several that have occurred at a Walmart stores around the country this year, including a situation in Texas where a woman was banned from a Wichita Falls store after she spent hours riding around the business on a scooter while drinking wine from a Pringles can.
This is just Walmart. I mean, you know what I mean? If you can't do this in a Walmart, then where can you do this at?
Low prices, lower rates. That's not Walmart, is it? Yeah. Rolling back prices.
And you remember that fucking campaign that did that?
Little smiley face just hopping through the fucking store there.
Hell yeah.
This is the Brohio podcast, and you're going to hear all kinds of stuff like this from all of our episodes. We're going to have to stop for a second while I go let the fucking cats out.
She's sitting over here scratching at the wall.
They're butt fucking each other. Hold on a second.
Sure.
And last week, Rob Dog, we sent out the all call.
We did.
We said, if you're a girl, we want to know what's the weirdest thing a guy's ever asked you to do to him. Some of you did not disappoint. We told you we would leave it anonymous. So that's what we're doing here. This first one comes from Jay. We're going to call her Jay. She said, you requested an email about the weirdest thing a dude has ever asked me to do to him sexually. My ex had just gotten out of prison.
All right, I like the way where's this going.
And came to the bedroom with a tub of butter and a box of rubber gloves and told me to fist his asshole.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus. Margarine's really bad for you. I hope it was just butter. She said,
oh my God.
Then he shit all over himself. We are now divorced.
Good call. Oh my gosh.
All right. And
that's definitely a little much.
We're going to call this one, we're going to call this M Girl. M Girl. She said, I was dating a guy in high school who I had heard was a freak, but I thought, how much of a freak can you be at 17? Well, so one night we were at his parents' house fooling around as you do at 17, and he got up to go take a shit.
I would have never at that age.
Dude, funny story. Hold on a second.
Okay, well, let's finish the story.
He came back in and looked nervous and said he had something he wanted me to do that he was always wanted to do. I thought, oh, great. This is going to be hot. He wanted me to get naked, go to the toilet, and pick up the shit that he just took, rub it on myself all over, face and everything, and then fuck him.
Oh, my God.
So I did it. No, she says, when I just looked at him and he went, just kidding. Nah, I gotcha. Nah, dude, you're nasty as fucking minutes. So that's what you do when you like ask someone like, hey, will you spit in my asshole while you jerk me off at the same time? And then you're like, this happened last week. My wife's like, what the fuck? I'm like, God, kidding. I'm so fucking kidding right now. But I was thinking today, I'm like, man, kids, summer's coming and stuff. I saw some kids, like the cross country kids, come by the school or by the summer's coming. And I just thought about, like, do you remember? There's always that one summer when you were a teenager where just like everything came together. You were like, you started making out and like doing hot stuff with chicks.
Yep.
You're boozing a little. It's just a fun fucking summer, man. You had a friend that has license if you didn't have your license or whatever. There's
right.
like one summer where it was just fucking perfect, man.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing at our age as perfect summers anymore.
Hell no.
There's fucking bills, running the kids around, all the stupid shit. And I'm just like, I just want a good summer one more time.
Man. The good old days.
The good old days. And I remember I had a girlfriend in high school and we were making out, and this is the time when you would just like sit and you would literally make out for like 12 hours because you didn't know about touching each other's penises because, yes, my girlfriend had a penis. You didn't know about this stuff because you're still a kid. And I remember, like, I am a gassy man. I've been like this my entire life, And it's my entire life. Just not as fat back then. And she was like sitting on my lap, kissing, and then she starts giving me a spiel like, I don't ever want you to leave me. And I'm like, baby, I love you so much. I'm never gonna leave you. And then she's like, I just want to stay here with you forever. And she like leaned in and like squeezed me, and I'm just like, she sits back and she's like, oh, I never farted in front of her before. You don't fart in front of girls that age, man.
Oh,
I don't know if that's I didn't fart in front of girls at that age. That's kind of how it went.
Right.
And she's like, oh, and I'm like, I didn't know that was going to happen.
My bad.
And I try to play it off like, I start like looking at my clothes like, my cargo shorts ripped. What just happened?
I put on my leather underwear.
I'm thinking in my head like, should I tell her I queefed or like, should I try and blame it on her or like? So then I stood up and I kind of walked through the door because I was gonna pretend like I heard it come from outside and I was gonna like open the door and be like in the hallway and be like, hey, you quit farting by the fucking door. But then I'm like, there's not gonna be anybody out there, So I'm just like, listen, I've been holding that back for a long time. I've been here all day eating ramen noodles with you and making out. And I had a fart, all right? It fucking happens. And that was one of those perfect summers, where just like, that ruined my life, though. That fucked me up for good.
Yeah, I think I would have been like completely traumatized.
I was, man, because, farting on chicks. Some of them like it. If you're a girl that likes to be farted on, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. Let us tell your story for you.
That hurt my face.
And now you get married, and my wife's like, we're 2 months behind on this bill. I'm just like,
I'm 2 months behind on that.
I fucking roll it up like Dragon Ball Z and throw it at her like a fireball. Just like
Shoryuken!
What's that one episode we did? The Dulce Air Force Base?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where like he starts like working up a fireball.
He has no powers at all. He's trying to summon a fireball out of thin air.
Shot him dead.
It's just a big brown and green ball of gas.
Oh my God. So let's get started on the episode here. It's only been 15 minutes and 25 seconds.
Okay.
I think we're okay, though.
It's
I think we're going to be all right.
Write your congressman if you don't like it.
As we said, farting on your girlfriend is wonderful. It's beautiful. You should try it.
It's a sign of love.
It is a sign of love, unless you shit your pants like I did that day. I left that part out of the story.
Okay.
That big old turd ball rolled out of my cargo shorts.
You shook it out. Your pants just kicked it under
I
the
just grabbed
couch.
it like a dead hamster and put it in my fucking Abercrombie pocket. Said, hey, you get in there. I didn't know he came with me. We're covering Aleister Crowley, or as I like to call him, Big Gay Al.
Damn it.
Also known as the wickedest man in the world and the master of darkness. I think if someone
These have to be names he gave himself.
the tabloids gave him these names. I think if someone came to me and they're like, what nickname would you want? And I would be like, if I can't have Poop Bandit, I probably want to be the wickedest man in the world. Or the master of darkness. He wasn't born Aleister Crowley, though. He was born Edward Alexander Crowley. And as some of you may know, my last name rhymes with Alexander. And we are actually descendants. He's a descendant of mine. I figured that out through 4chan was where I went through that. He was born October 12th of 1875 in Royal Leamington Spa, England. And it doesn't matter when he died. We'll get there. You can tell I copy and pasted this part. He was a British occultist, writer, and mountaineer who was a practitioner of magic.
With a K.
Magic. That's magic with a CK at the end of it. It's different than Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Magic the Gatherings where a bunch of stinky guys get together in a basement.
That was my shit, man.
And then they play cards until they get the fucking hardest 3-inch erection they've ever had. And they just stink fuck each other until they all fucking pass out. You know what a stink fuck is?
That right there, what you just described.
Okay, yeah. You just get a bunch of stinky guys in the basement and you all fuck each other.
I used to play Magic all the time. I know those guys.
I know.
I know those guys.
And they're like, hey, I want to try something new. I want to try fucking an armpit. And those Magic the Gathering guys are like, Bulbasaur. And they play the card and they
Bulbasaur.
and they fucking do it, man. There's a few guys in my work that play Dungeons and Dragons, and I've really been giving them a hard time. They're like, I've really been giving them a hard time.
You're gonna start a workplace shooting.
Yeah, and they're like, they're paying to have their character created. They're like,
You're shitting all
and
over
I'm like,
the
wait a
dreams.
second, this is a fucking imaginary world you're living in, right? And they're like, well, it's not, it's real, but it's, you kind of like do your own thing. I'm like, what do you mean you fucking do your own thing?
Is Ricky involved in this?
I think he is.
Sounds
actually
like a Ricky thing too.
They're paying.
Damn it, Ricky.
They're paying this guy I work with to draw. They're like, I'm a fucking level 17 fucking dungeon master. Draw me in a alligator armor. I don't know, but they pay him to get. I don't know. It's fucking weird to me. And I told him, like, you guys are fucking stupid. And it's the same thing at the prison. All the child molesters played Dungeons and Dragons. All of them. They were either, and this doesn't mean anything for the real world, but 99% of people that were juggalos in prison were child molesters, and 99% of child molesters played Dungeons and Dragons. And I would walk up.
Man, see a bunch of Dungeon and Dragon juggalos.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They would play in the day room, and I would walk up and I would karate chop the middle of their board. I would karate chop it, and I would fucking sham wow that motherfucker right off the table into the wall. And they would be like, why'd you do that for? And I'd be like, why'd you fuck that kid? Stand up and do something. They never did anything. So there's another fucking awesome prison story for you right there. Now, let's see here. He often called himself the Beast 666.
Oh, okay.
That's a creative nickname. He was denounced in his own time for his decadent lifestyle and had few followers, but he became a cult figure after his death. There's no other person that I've ever read about that have been, he's such an integral part of rock and roll and literature and poetry. He's so multifaceted. He's just such a huge part of so many different parts of society. And I've never really. He's such an enigma. It's kind of weird that I think he's stupid and he sucks, but he was. A lot of people get a lot of inspiration from this guy. He was just into a lot of weird stuff, and this is going to be our regular true crime or ghost story. But this guy did a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
He's pretty much up our alley. He was, like I said, he was a mountaineer, a poet, a theologian. He was a black magician. Not like he wasn't a black guy. He was a white guy, but he's a black magician. He did black, dark magic, that kind of stuff.
That hocus fucking pocus, man.
That hocus motherfucker pocus. Jack. He was a spy. He was a drug fiend. He was a sex addict, and he was a traitor to the British people.
Well, pull a rabbit out of this flat bill hat.
I got a dip. I'm about to fix and escape the trunk of this Caprice real quick. I like Caprice classics. Those are those badass fucking cars.
Yeah, they are.
I love rap music too.
Hell yeah.
Rap the fucking hood loves Nickalicious. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Well,
I think I may have saw that on a bumper sticker in the West
you
Side.
fucking already know, man.
The hood loves Nickalicious.
He was raised in an exceptionally devout Christian home. His father was a preacher, and at first, Crowley found himself entirely devoted to the religion of Christianity. This is completely out of respect for his father. His dad died when Aleister, he was still Edward at this time, or Big Gay Al, as we like to call him. His dad died when Aleister was 11, and that's when he started to kind of rebuke the Christian faith. His dad died from tongue cancer. How much fucking ass do you have to eat in order to get tongue cancer is my question.
Oof. I can't imagine.
I think you probably get, and this happened to me a lot as a kid. My older brother dipped. He would dip in Mountain Dew cans, Pepsi cans, and I was a fat kid. And they would leave them cans sitting around, and I'd grab one of them motherfuckers. And,
Mountain Dew.
Check. Mountain Dew, dude. I'm gonna drink. Oh, it's Kodiak. I'm fucking dying. It's black fucking tar. That's the kind of stuff that happened to me as a kid.
That would fuck you up.
It would fuck me up. I'm probably gonna get tongue cancer here for not too long.
Your tongue just starts falling out.
I would take it. I'd probably get a transplant for sure.
Might as well.
Yeah, I want your tongue though.
Get a big fat cow tongue.
It's been places.
It's seen some things.
I want like a little bird tongue. I don't want a big one. I just like
a snake tongue. Like a little skinny little snake tongue.
I just want to be able to suck my own dick. That's it.
You need a giraffe tongue then, man.
Yeah, dude.
Long black.
I had this Cocker Spaniel growing up, and he would just lick the fuck out of his dick all the time and lick his ass. And my dad's like, he's got fucking worms. And we take him to the vet, never had worms, just like to lick his own dick.
He was just a perv.
And then one day he was just like eating himself out, like hard, like getting up in it. And I might have told this before. I think I have actually. And I'm like, man, I wish I could fucking do that. And my dad's like, you better ask him before you do it. That old Buster, man, he was a good fucking dog. He loved dirty diapers. Now, Aleister, he would go on to point out a lot of inconsistencies in the teachings of the Bible during study groups in school, and would outright defy all Christian morals by smoking, masturbating.
Oh,
that's funny that it's documented that he was a masturbator.
Right.
How many times do you have to get caught jerking your dick in order to be like, in history to be known, he was a masturbator? Like on my headstone, they're like, loving husband, father, podcaster, and chronic masturbator. I like to, when the UPS guy gets here, I like to just start jerking off the door and then fling the door open. So when he brings the package up to the door, I'm just standing there in my fucking fat suit, jacking my dick. And he's like, oh man, I didn't know. And my aunt, she's a mail carrier, and I ask her, I'm like, how many times do you see people butt fucking or like trying to shove big things up their ass through their windows? And she's like, all the fucking time.
Really?
Yeah, she's all the time. If you're a mail carrier, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. Let us know the fucked up shit you see.
Man, that's a good one.
Because she said she'll walk past windows and people are just naked or they're in there. Like, she said she saw a guy like with his legs rolled back, fingering his ass one time.
Really?
Yeah. And she
Good for him.
She said it was a big old fucking dude too. Just
good for him.
Yeah, had an entire bottle of Jergens, just cramming it up his ass. Just finger insertion.
Man,
that'd be a fun job.
It really would.
I would just walk around. They'd be like, Mr. Alexander, you literally delivered none of your mail today. I'm like, yeah, but I looked in a lot of fucking windows. I saw a lot of people beating it.
What else are you going to do when you don't have a job?
Right. But they said he would outright defy all Christian morals by smoking, masturbating, and having sex with prostitutes. He when he was younger, he got in trouble for creating a homemade firework with which he nearly killed himself with. Fucking black magic right there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also caught torturing a cat in several horrible ways to test the 9 lives theory.
Oh my God.
Early on in his life, at the age of 14, Crowley developed an intense sexual fixation on women. He lost his virginity to one of the family's maids on his mother's bed when he was
Good
just
for
14
him, man.
years old.
He doesn't give a fuck.
The maid was promptly fired and became a homeless drunk.
Oh shit.
That's the best dick I've ever had in my life, and I'm never gonna get over that.
This is one of the common themes. Is you'll see everything that he fucking touches just falls apart. Like, literally, he's like,
What'd you do?
it's like he fucks everything up.
Oh, I can't wait to tell this story.
The poor woman.
It's rumored that she became one of Jack the Ripper's victims. 3 years later, Crowley contracted gonorrhea from a prostitute. So just 17 years old, he had his first bout of gonorrhea.
Good for him.
And I was asking around at work this week. I'm reading about this guy, and I said, I'm asking about STDs. You know, I've never had a sexually transmitted disease.
Me neither.
I get cold sores under my nose, and that's about as close I've come to actually having a sexually transmitted disease. I know one of these fuckers are going to pop up on my dick one day.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I've touched these things and touched my wiener, but
My ass sweats real bad. Does that count?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's really bad. And I asked, I'm like, a group of guys, I'm like, man, I'm reading about this guy getting gonorrhea. How the fuck do you get gonorrhea? And they're like, you ever had gonorrhea? I'm like, no, I haven't fucking had gonorrhea.
You put your dick in a dirty pussy.
They're like, man, you've never been like so like fucked up that you just fuck whatever and you get gonorrhea? I'm like, no, like you get it from a dog or what the fuck do you get it from?
I didn't know it was like that weird to not have ever had
Right,
gonorrhea.
exactly. And they're like, no, you get it from fucking dirty bitch. I'm like, God damn. I like to keep the pool clean. You know, I use a lot of
Right.
fucking bleach tablets in there. I don't even fucking around the dirty pool. And I've never had gonorrhea.
Nope, me
I
neither.
think gonorrhea is the one where they have to, like, in Vietnam, they would smash your dick in order to fix it, right? It
I
would,
think that was chlamydia. That's why they called it the clap.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're an expert. Thank you so much.
Now
for
that one, no,
different story.
never had chlamydia either.
If you've ever had an STD, get some Cialis. Live the life that you want, just like the commercial says.
Yep.
Now, Aleister was such a dickhead as a child that his mother gave him the nickname the Beast. She also called him the Beast because he had a huge dick, and she thought that was a good name for a son with a huge dick. Something that he would use, the nickname the Beast, was a nickname that he would use for the rest of his life. And at the age of 20, he officially changed his name to Aleister from Edward Alexander Crowley. Around the same time, he started getting passed around from different schools and universities, finally settling in at Cambridge University. I think that's the big to-do college there in Great Britain.
Oh yeah.
And this was from 1895 to 1898. Much like a lot of people do, he discovered a lot of things about himself while he was in college. I know when my brother went to college, he's about 10 years older than me, my mom and dad fucking hated him while he was in college. They got a phone call in the middle of the night, and I answered it. I was out there playing Sega or PlayStation, I can't remember. The house phone rings. I'm like, hello? They're like, can I speak with Mr. Alexander? It's about midnight. I'm like, speaking? Because I was Mr. Alexander.
Right.
And they're like, this is so-and-so from something hospital. We have Jason here. I'm like, oh, you're going to want to talk to my dad for this one. So I give the phone to my dad, and he's like, he did what? And he fucked my brother, overdosed on mushrooms. He was in the hospital because he overdosed on mushrooms.
I remember you telling me this before. It's so weird that you can overdose on mushrooms. Think about it, he was tripping fucking balls.
My dad's like, how many fucking mushrooms do you have to eat for someone to drag your dumb ass to the hospital? But I'm hearing all these stories. I'm like, man, I don't need to go to college.
Man, I gotta ask him about that next time I hang out with him.
He'll tell
I'm
you
like,
all
man,
about
tell me how hard you were fucking tripping. I wonder if he even knew he was at the hospital.
Probably not, man. Dude, I hear mushrooms are fucking awesome. I've never
Yeah.
taken them. I really want some.
I heard that about pretty much all hallucinogenics.
Speaking of mushrooms, we have a P.O. box now, and if you want to send us stuff, we've got all kinds of cool stuff that we put on the walls back here.
Yeah.
It's sent it to the Brohio Podcast. That's P.O. Box 672, Vandalia, Ohio. That's Vandalia.
Good job.
Ohio 45377.
Woo. Send it away.
And we will fucking open your packages and sing your praises. That's how that's going to go down.
Yeah.
So he did a lot of cool stuff in college. He made a lot of sex, and I mean he made a lot of sex in college. He was fixated on women growing up, but this did not define his lovemaking. He had sexual relations with men as well, so he liked to have he liked to fuck guys.
Got to keep them options open, baby.
There's one specific trip that he made while on holiday in Stockholm in December of 1896. He had his first gay experience,
Aw.
and it was said to have been exceptionally spiritually enlightening for Mr. Crowley. And I'm thinking about what could be enlightening about just like, I know sex is sex, but what would be, maybe we're missing something.
Yeah.
There's something very enlightening about gay sex, but Aleister Crowley said that's what kind of opened up the expanded the horizon for him. Quote, he said, "It was an experience of horror and pain."
So it sounds like he was a bottom here.
God.
Maybe he should just be a top.
Quote, "It was an experience of horror and pain," he wrote, "combined with a certain ghostly terror, yet at the same time, it was the key to the purest and holiest spiritual ecstasy that exists." So,
Wow.
yeah, the part where he says it's horror and pain, man. You ever like been having sex with your wife and you fucking send in a Scud missile and misses the puss and hits her right in the butthole? That cripples a man.
I just love how it goes from horror and pain to the holiest sexual or holiest spiritual ecstasy that exists. It's like both ends of the spectrum.
Listen, I've had stuff in my ass before. I haven't had a lot of stuff in my ass.
Nah, I'm good.
Nothing on purpose. But I've like fallen and hit my ass on stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, if that would have went inside my asshole, that'd hurt really fucking bad.
Right.
And I'm just trying to figure out, that's probably what he went through. It was his first gay experience. We live in a very small town, and I didn't know hardly any gay people until I started doing this podcast.
I didn't know any.
It's a beautiful fucking thing, man.
Yeah.
Love is a beautiful thing. You do you.
You do you, baby.
But I just want to know how you go about stretching that guy out. And this isn't necessarily just for gay guys. This is for women as well. This is for anybody. It's quite confusing to me how you can get your asshole to the point that you can put things in it and it doesn't fucking like it's pleasurable. And sometimes I see gay porn on the internet. And the guy,
I may have whacked off to it once or
the
twice.
guy getting fucked in the ass has a boner. So that's another question I have is how do you keep a boner while you're getting fucked in the ass? How does that work?
Well, it's because that's going in and it's pushing your wiener out.
There's nothing that feels better than a big old giant magician's dick going up and down your prostate.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds fancy, doesn't it? I'd let a magician fuck me. If you're a magician, you want to fuck me. Brohio Podcast at gmail.com. Let me know. Just want to try it. But you're going to need to do some fucking magic tricks to prove it. Just not anybody can write like, I'm a magician, I'm going to fuck you. No. I want you to pull a finger off or fucking pull a quarter out of my ear before we do this. Before we get this on.
Bite a quarter in half.
David Blaine. I had that magic trick when I was a kid. When I saw that at the magic shop, I'm like, he's such a motherfucking piece of shit. David Blaine is.
Dude, I love David Blaine.
Such a piece of shit.
I love that dude.
And he wasn't just restricted to the butt fucking and laying bitches in college. He was an exceptional chess player and also an avid mountain climber. There was a mountain climbing accident that I'm going to circle back to a little later, but after his school was complete, he actually wanted to pursue a career in diplomatic relations. To further his studies, he briefly went to Russia from Great Britain and was actually accused by the British government of treason. But I think I might have that wrong. I think he was actually accused by the Russian government of treason because all his entire life, one of the conspiracies with Aleister Crowley is that he was an informant for like a spy for the government that he worked because he was always so welcomed by all these other countries and whatnot. The government would use him to go to all these different places and kind of report back with information. So the consensus was that he was a spy for his entire life, actually. And his father owned a brewery. Excuse me. And when his father passed away, he left a lot of money behind. And when Aleister turned 20, I believe he received inheritance from his father, and it was enough money, allegedly, to set him up for his entire life. So he didn't ever need a job. He just kind of bumped around and just kind of fucking went around the world. He had enough.
Practice some dark magic.
Yeah. Just fucking fuck whoever he wanted to and do magic.
Just trying to find any way to ruin his dad's legacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Disappoint him.
That was kind of his thing. But once and for all, his mind was made up. In October of 1897, he suffered from a brief illness that nearly brought him to death. It was at this time when he was clinging to dear life. He thought about life and death and how our lives work, and he decided he would focus solely on the occult. And we've talked about it a million times before. Life and death is a crazy thing for me. My greatest fear, besides having my glands bit off in the ocean by a fucking shark, is death itself. And I think I would probably die if I had my glands bit off by a shark in the ocean. So kind of all the same thing right there, all encompassing. But the fear of the unknown is the strangest thing for me, man.
It's really weird. I'll often get like lost thinking about it. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll be like, I'm going to be dead one day.
Yeah,
like
man.
I am going to be dead.
It's sad.
And like you're just the fact that your consciousness is no longer going to be there.
But maybe it is.
Or maybe it is. Yeah, exactly.
My worst fear is
so fucking weird.
What if you die and then like 2 hours, you feel like you're asleep for a couple hours and you wake up and you're just in a box and you feel like you live the rest of your life in that box underground.
I want everybody to take a second and really think about, you're going to die.
Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow.
It's fucking wild.
We don't know the day. We don't know the number. When Jesus calls us home, when Satan calls us home, or whoever calls you home, you're just fucking gone. You're just you're a memory. That's crazy to me. And for him to reach a heightened level of just this energy of understanding the universe, if I felt like I was achieving that one day, I might be a completely different person. That could be why he was the way he was, because he reached a heightened spiritual level he kind of understood the universe, kind of understood the way things went.
He was on that good shit.
He was on that fucking good for sure.
He's on that purple stank wank.
That goddamn sticky, icky, purple stank wank motherfucker. Pull that rabbit out your motherfucking flat bill. You piece of shit. And this is when he joined I don't even know how to fucking say this, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Hey, look at you. Good job. Good job, guy.
Hermetic. I thought that was hermaphrodite at first, but it's Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Now, the Golden Dawn was a large group. They lived up in the mountains, and they would get the whole entire order. So have dozens of people would stay in a cabin, and people would oftentimes wonder why they called them the Golden Dawn. Well, they would wake each other up by pissing on each other. They would just piss in each other's mouths to wake each other up. Wake up, motherfucker. Dribble, dribble, drip, drip. Coffee's done, motherfucker. Wake up. That's completely not true. I made all that shit up.
Yeah, you did.
And he finally took his biggest step into the occultism when he joined the first religious cult, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, introduced by a chemist named Julian Baker. The Golden Dawn system was based on a hierarchy and initiation like the Masonic lodges. However, women were admitted on an equal basis with men. The Golden Dawn was the first of 3 orders, although all 3 are often collectively referred to as the Golden Dawn. There's 3 different levels to this Golden Dawn. The first order taught esoteric philosophy, astrology, tarot, divination, and geomancy.
Tarot divination.
Divination and geomancy. They're all fancy psychic words that I don't know. I'm going to give it my best, though. The second or inner order, the Ruby Rose and Cross of the Gold, taught magic, including scrying, astral travel, and alchemy. If some of you may find yourselves wondering what the fuck scrying is, that's where you cry after sex. That's what scrying is. No, scrying is when you look into a magic, like a crystal ball, and you can see the future.
Okay.
And you look into, You rub the fucking ball, and you can say, "You're gonna fucking die, Rob," and you're gonna be like, "I fucking know. Give me my money back. I knew I was gonna die. I just said that 10 minutes ago. You fucking heard me out there in the flea market walking around.
You're not fucking telling me anything I don't know.
I've never had a tarot reading or anything like that performed. And if that's something we can do remotely, we would love to talk to you. Someone that does tarot card readings and stuff like that.
Do it.
If you can lay some shit down on Rob Dog and I, let us know. I don't ever want to get a divorce. So if you're going to tell me I'm getting a divorce, fuck you. We don't want to talk to you.
Pack those fucking cards back up under your pillow.
Now, the third order was that of the secret chiefs. I want to be a secret chief, who were said to be highly skilled. They supposedly directed the activities of the lower two orders by spirit communication with the chiefs of the second order. He advanced quickly through the ranks of the Golden Dawn, studying under a guy named Alan Bennett. Now, Bennett was the heir to the... it's not hair, it's heir.
Thank you.
I said hair last time in the old pretzel logic. Our cat lawyer, she rose and said, "You're a fucking idiot." I'm like, and I'm trying my best to read hard words. And Bennett was the heir to the leader of the entire cult, and the leader of the entire cult was old Sam Matters, pronounced like spelled like Marshall Matters.
Yeah.
The guy from Guns N' Roses. Bennett eventually left Britain for health reasons and moved to Sri Lanka. Crowley finally completed the studies to enter the rank of Adeptus Minor, which was the first level in the second order. So the second order is kind of when you start getting in the fucking nitty gritty of this.
This is like some Scientology shit.
It is. And the guy that started Scientology was really close with Aleister Crowley. So it kind of
makes sense.
Yeah. Now, the leaders of the Golden Dawn, they didn't like that he was gay and then he made butt sex with guys. So they wouldn't perform the ceremony to move him along. That seems kind of fucked up.
That's horrible.
If you were gay and you wanted to do whatever, I would let you do it. That's not fair to Aleister Crowley.
No,
and he was a bisexual as well. He would eventually travel to Paris and have the ceremony performed out of the country by Matters himself in a hush-hush ceremony, which Matters he kind of started the whole entire thing. The other leaders of the members strongly disapproved of them kind of giving Crowley his promotion. This caused Matters and Crowley to both be expelled from the cult, as with any serious dispute between occultists, astral attacks ensued.
Okay.
Crowley reported that the rebels directed hostile magic against him, as evidenced by the fact that his rubber raincoat burst spontaneously into flames, and he found himself in a, quote, furious temper for no reason.
Would you be pissed off if your coat was on fire?
So extreme that horses ran away in fear at the sight of him.
Oh, God.
Fucking horses.
Not horses.
The horse is like, just fucking take off. They're running from the goddamn raincoat. You imagine just walking around, mind your own goddamn business, and your raincoat just fucking erupts into, turns into hot fucking lava on your back.
Fucking melted rubber, man. That it can't feel good.
That stinks, man.
All it does, but it smells horrible.
You ever had someone pour hot candle wax in your privates before?
No, I've not. I'm terrified of that.
I snorted cocaine off my own dick one time. It felt a lot like it.
All right.
This is back when I was a lot thinner, Rob Dog. If you want to think about that for a second.
I'm picturing it.
Oh, man. So he's out of the, whatever the fucking thing was called, the hermaphrodite order of the Golden Dawn. He's out of there. So what's a wicked bisexual wizard to do after the fallout of the Golden Dawn? Crowley, understandably tired of all the fighting, chose to travel the world, visiting Mexico, India, or Indiana, I'm not sure, France, and
the fuck is this?
Ceylon. We're going to call it Ceylon. Reunited with Alan Bennett. You'll remember Alan Bennett was the one that kind of taught him the ways of the hermaphrodite order there in the beginning, and they studied yoga together. He also married Rose Kelly. Now, Rose Kelly was obviously, I think it was his first wife. She was supposed to be in an arranged marriage. And Aleister said, no. I will fucking save you from this arranged marriage. I will marry you. They didn't know each other. They weren't in love, but he just said, I'll marry you to keep you from having to enter into this arranged marriage that you don't want to be a part of. So it seems like the same fucking thing to me.
What a noble guy.
I guess so. And she later revealed herself to be a clairvoyant when they traveled to Egypt.
Did she see this coming, though?
Well, she didn't really buy into this shit at first. His new wife, Rose Kelly, wasn't really into the occult like Aleister. She thought, it's kind of like my wife in podcasting. I'm like, hey, I got to go do the podcast. She's like, you're a fucking imbecile. I'm like, listen, when I get up here tonight, I'm going to dick you down so hard that you're going to want me to fucking start recording podcast inside your body from now on. And she's like, no, that's not going to happen. And I'm like, I know it's not going to happen, but I just like to talk to you, talk dirty to you, and get you to try and see what's going on down here, how hot it is down here in my pants. And I looked at pictures of Rose Kelly. She looks like she's a fox, but she's got that I don't give a fuck look on her face.
Okay.
Like, I want marijuana's biscuits and dick, because that's what they eat in Great Britain is biscuits and dick. If you're from Great Britain and you can confirm that all you do is eat biscuits and dick, write us an email, brohiopodcast@gmail.com. We'll be happy to hear and tell your story.
And if you say anything otherwise, we just know you're lying.
Exactly.
So
they decided a honeymoon in Egypt. What a cool fucking spot for a honeymoon.
Great, yeah.
It's a fuck a mummy. Oh, man. And the motherfucker never get away. Somehow this guy lands a night in the king's chamber below the Great Pyramid. He's Aleister Crowley, and he had a lot of inheritance money.
Yeah.
They get a room below the Great Pyramids in the king's chamber. Of all the cool places to have honeymoon sex. That's going down right there.
Hell yeah. Fucking a bitch in a crypt.
If you have been eaten out on top of a mummy's fucking
sarcophagus. I wonder if you can find that on Airbnb. I'm about to look.
I want to be eaten out on top of a mummy's tomb. By a pharaoh. By a cat. By a giant cat with legs.
There's got to be in a room where like it has that one square block that if you step on, the room collapses around you. Like, you got to have a little danger in your life.
No, that's different. That is coming out soon.
That's a little bit different. Yeah,
I'm really excited. I'm sorry I passed gas and it smells horrible. I just want to apologize in advance for that.
I want to apologize that I'm out of fucking Baja Blast.
Now, probably, it was their wedding night, so he had full intentions to just completely dick her down that night.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to show off a little bit.
As if getting a place in the king's chamber isn't enough.
And I think the way the story goes, as their marriage progressed, they fell a little bit more in love. They actually started to fall in love at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to impress her on their wedding night. He wanted to show her that he was a real magician. And on my wedding night, I told my wife that I was a magician. She's like, prove it. I'm like, I'm going to make my dick disappear just by taking my pants off. I'm making it disappear right now, and I'm taking my pants off. See? It's not there. Congratulations, you've married a magician.
When is it going to come back?
It's not.
It's not.
He wanted her to see that he was a true performer of magic. I like to call it magic.
Yeah, magic.
So while in the king's chamber, he decided he was going to illuminate the entire chamber using astral light. Stand back. Instead of the illumination, his wife fell into a deep trance. This old fucking Rose Kelly, she fell into a deep trance. She started to repeatedly say, quote, "They are waiting for you. They are waiting for you. They are waiting for you." Crowley had been trying for several years to contact his holy guardian angel. This guy's a fucking weirdo, man. Skeptical of his wife's sudden clairvoyancy, Crowley demanded answers to a series of questions from her, of which she had no possible prior knowledge. I'm going to cough real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We're not going to edit that out either because we don't edit.
No.
It helps us get the
We don't
product,
have time for that shit.
Get the product to you a little quicker, you know.
That 3 seconds that adds up.
Yeah, Crowley demanded answers to a series of questions from her, which she had no possible prior knowledge. Upon answering all things correctly, he took her to a museum, and after passing several images of Horus, 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 I don't know,
Horse.
Horus. She pointed across the room to a stele which could not be clearly seen from where they stood. She'd never been to this museum before. When they examined the stele, now referred to as a stele of revealing, it was painted with an image of Horus, which he was an ancient Egyptian god, And to Crowley's further conviction, it was labeled as item number 666 in the museum catalog. And here he is, 666 the Beast. He's fucking wild, and he thinks he hit the goddamn jackpot. This bitch is drunker than fuck because she was always fucking drunk.
She's a high off of mummy fumes from the fucking
formaldehyde. Crowley himself adopted 666 as his personal moniker in rebellion to his religious upbringing many years before. After invoking Horus, Crowley made his fateful breakthrough. For 3 days, Crowley took dictation from the entity identifying itself as Iwas. This Iwas character, and when I say dictation, you think about someone writing. This is like, I guess, ghost writing type deals. He wrote this book called the Book of the Law, and by dictation I mean all the words he was writing on the paper was spoken to him by this Iwas character this guardian angel that he'd been looking for his entire life. So this Iwas character wrote the entire book that Aleister Crowley would be so famous for his entire life. And that book was called the Book of the Law. This book turned out to be the outline of his newly created religion, Thelema. So he had this new religion that he was working on. He was going to call it Thelema. And to this day, Thelema's still around. A lot of weird fucking shit going on with Thelema, okay? Thelema, the three key philosophical ideas outlined in the book are: do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. So this means it's interpreted and today as do whatever the fuck you want as long as it's good, as long as it makes you happy. It also says, love is the law, love under will. Every man and every woman is a star. And they really subscribe to this theory of people were fucking stars and the fucking cosmos and the fucking I have no idea. I cannot get into this stuff.
That's a little out there.
Very out there. But this is kind of what I think the space is a beautiful thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm not a star.
Hell no.
I took the most rancid shit earlier.
You are made of gas.
They put up that picture of that black hole this past week, and people are like, you have no fucking idea how fucking monumental this is in the history of the world.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, they could have fixed the exposure. That's blurry as fuck.
And then I'm reading, they're like, you're not actually seeing a picture of a hole. You're seeing how the radio waves,
right,
how they react when they're near the black hole. So this isn't even a real fucking black hole. This is just a picture of radio waves and what they do around a black hole. Show me a black hole. Show me an asshole. Show me something that's going to make me happy, you know?
It's pretty much space's pooper.
It is. We get sucked into one of them things and we're fucked up.
Yeah.
I am not a scientist, but I know that.
For all we know, it could spin us into an alternate reality, though.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Where there's no such thing as like different television shows. It's only tool time over and over and over and over.
Everybody just goes,
that's a world I want to fucking live in.
Nobody talks. We just do that. Fucking sign me up, man. Where's Al Borland when you need him?
I think he might have died.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Al, if you're listening.
I think the dude across the fence died, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm thinking of. Now, after the encounter with Iwas, Crowley sent a letter to Matters, letting him know, which Ladders was the guy from the old Hermaphrodite order, let him know the equinox of the gods had come, and that Crowley had forged a new link with the secret chiefs, thus making him, Crowley, the supreme magical authority.
Don't you love that?
There's no need to go on. I'm the supreme fucking being now.
I forged a link with the secret chiefs. I am the supreme magical authority.
You think Matters read it in that voice too? You just open it up and it's probably like a letter from Harry Potter where he just fucking plops up on the table and starts screaming at you.
Man, this whole time when I was sitting here thinking of Aleister Crowley, like I hear that name and I think that he's gonna look something like Alice Cooper. And he's like a fat, bald dude.
Real fat fucking potato.
He really looks like a potato.
Dumber and shit.
Looks like a walrus.
Looks like Cousin It.
He does. Uncle Fester.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, there
Cousin
you go.
Fester.
I knew what you're talking about.
This letter spurred a magical duel between the two that lasted many years.
A duel.
According to Crowley, Matters reportedly sent one of his followers, a vampire, to him. She appeared to him in the guise of a, quote, young woman of bewitching beauty, but he was able to defeat her as she was transformed in the hag of 60, bent and decrepit. Matters then sent a, quote, current of evil, which struck Crowley's bloodhounds dead and caused his servants to fall ill.
Man.
Crowley retaliated by summoning up the forces of the demon Beelzebub and his 49 attendant fiends. Following this effort, Matters' magical assaults on Crowley ceased. Years later, when Matters passed away of influenza, many felt that Crowley had murdered him with the magic orders.
Of all this shit, and then he dies of flu.
Jesus Christ.
I get it that it was a different time, but woo.
You're probably thinking that he died from something of this world. Well, no.
Fucking Beelzebub.
It was the magic of Aleister Crowley. I've killed the man with my magical fucking powers. And now I must go smoke some hashish. He was a raging fucking drug fiend.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He was so doped up all the time. And, and to follow up with Thelema here, I have some of the orders here that the guidelines for practicing Thelema. The Order 7, adoration of the phallus, both within and without. So they worship
a dick.
The dick and the buttholes. They're saying adoration of the phallus, both within and without. And you think about it.
This is so sexy.
You think about your genitals. You have genitals on the outside of your body. Is your butthole a genital? I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
I just think it's a tube for shit.
Yeah, I'd say your penis and your testes.
But a vagina, that's a genital.
Yeah.
So they would worship the genitals, the phalluses.
Huh.
I thought a phallus was just a dick, though.
That's what I did too, yeah.
And
when you say something has a phallic shape, you don't want to say it looks like a twat.
There was about a 7-year period in my life where I had little to no sex, and I chalk it up to me religiously referring to my penis as a phallus. I would, this is like kind of before text and stuff. I would, like, hey, call him, like,
you'd write a letter.
How would you like to come over and suck on my phallus? How would you like to put my phallus inside of you? And they didn't know what I was talking about. I was ahead of my time, Rob Dog.
You want to give me fellatio?
I was a fucking trailblazer, okay? And I would say, they would say, hey, you want to hang out? And I'd say, I got to wash my phallus first. They'd be like, what's that?
Are you going to tug on my phallus?
I have to go shave my phallus. I challenge you, the Brohio Nation, refer to your penis as a phallus for the next couple of weeks and let us know how much spiritual enlightenment it brings to your fucking life, okay?
Or let us know how many bottles you get thrown at your head from your wife and girlfriend.
Call your mom right now and ask her what it was like to wipe shit off your phallus when she was changing your diaper as a child. God. Call her right now and ask her.
Stop what you're doing.
Do it. Order 8. Interaction outside the closed vessels of the vagina and the anus. Sexual fluids might be mixed with saliva and then rubbed into the absorbent tissues of the anus and perineum. And if you're wondering what the perineum is, it's the strip of land that connects your ball sack or your vagina to your asshole, as well as the external correspondences to the chakras, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown, wherever your third eye is, probably your dick hole. They also might be used to anoint the internal anus.
The internal anus.
So that means you can take vaginal, what they're saying right there, you can take saliva, spit, vaginal secretions.
Get that in your butt.
Shove them up your ass. That's what I want. And it helps. It's like putting fucking... the shit.
Oh my God, this next line.
You go to the gas station and they get like, you want to buy some of this? Put it in your gas tank. It helps everything run a lot better.
Right.
When I'm done fucking my wife, I get a handful of her juices and I cram them up inside of me to keep everything fucking going good, man. I just like aftershave. I don't stuff my hand up inside me. I just tap it on there, It just keeps everything flowing good.
You don't give it the old Thanksgiving turkey.
No, just fucking,
You're fucking wrist deep.
Get it up in there, Oh my God. They also might be used to anoint the internal anus, then transferred as semen, anal elixirs, and saliva back to the mouth.
Anal elixirs.
I got some anal elixir for you right here. It's called fucking goose juice.
But it sounds like poop.
Yeah. So they're saying that's exactly what they're saying, that you could eat shit, and that's kind of like the fucking
Oh God.
These fluids may also be anointed on the eyelids and the entire Kabbalistic middle pillar.
That's gonna give you pink eye.
Someone rubs poop in my eyes, and be prepared for 270 pounds of bent steel and motherfucking sex appeal to stand up and fight you like a fucking gorilla.
Oh man.
I will fuck up anybody that puts poop in my eyes.
Flings a big runny turd on your face.
Order number 9, interaction within the vagina involving either menstrual blood or the secretions of a woman when sexually aroused. Order number 10, impregnation and fertilization of an egg, also the act of creation or secession. For example, the election of the outer head of the order. Oh my God. So these are all the...
This is some weird shit.
This all ties into a ceremony they call the Cake of Light, all right?
Sounds delicious.
And they try and modern day Thalimas try and fucking make this something, you know, yeah, it's not that big of a fucking deal. Not that big of a deal.
It's cake though.
But no, it's like a biscuit or a wafer or a cracker. Like, you know, you go to communion.
It's an English fucking cake.
Yeah.
An English cracker. God damn it. That's not a cake.
When we talk about gravy and biscuits in America, we mean like fucking flour and fucking
like bread,
milk and sausage. You make it in a liquid and then you make biscuits. You make these biscuits rise up, and then you put the goddamn gravy on top of it. That's biscuits and gravy, okay?
Right.
They're talking about other kinds of biscuits in
Not
Great
like
Britain.
cookies.
Yeah, kind of like cookies, I guess. Tea and crumpets.
Pastries.
What the fuck ever.
I don't fucking know.
But this Cake of Light ceremony, think about it if you've ever been to church and done communion, where they say, eat this as it is my body. And they give you a cracker, and you're supposed to eat it like it's the flesh of Christ. And they say, drink this as it's my blood. And you drink the fucking wine, or whenever I go to
Get
church.
fucking loaded off some Jesus blood.
Grape juice. Fucking crunk juice is what I bring. I take a flask and I just get drunk and shit my pants in the pew.
It's perp.
And the old man comes by with the fucking offering plate. I'm like, hey, you ever had your dick sucked by a fat guy before? And they're like, I'd love to do that. I fucking had my dick sucked, and I haven't had my phallus tucked on in a really long time. I ain't had my phallus sucked on. Over here, suck my phallus, fat boy. That's what they say to me. Try and coax me over there to get them to suck on their phallus. I'm like, all right, this is what you've been preparing for, Nicolicious. Let's do this. So these Cake of Lights, they make these crackers. You all right, bro? You be all right.
You have to get on over here, fat boy. That fucked me up. Oh,
Get
God.
over here and suck on this phallus, fat boy. You little fat, nasty girl. You be all right, bro. But this Cake of Light ceremony, they make these biscuits and these fucking crackers. And they would do this ceremony, but they would put fucking semen and menstrual blood, vaginal secretions, drops of shit in this fucking cracker mix or this biscuit.
You had me with semen and lost me at menstrual blood.
Yeah. Hey, I draw the line right there, buddy. I'll suck some fucking farts out of a girl's ass, but I will not eat shit, all right? And they would make these crackers and these biscuits, and they would put period blood and they would, or fucking vaginal secretions or semen. And unless you got to cook like me, I just put like sugar and chocolate chips in it, because that's the kind of fucking guy I am. Like, hey, let him keep cooking the biscuits. Those are pretty good. And this is the Cake of Light ceremony, and they would eat this shit, man, but then you ask the modern day Thalimas, they're like, no. They make one, so the modern day Thalimas say they make one order, a small batch, enough to make like 3 cookies. They put a drop of semen or a drop of menstrual blood in it, or a drop of fucking piss or dog shit, whatever the fuck they put in it, these weirdos. They put 1 drop in it, and they make the cookies. Then they burn the cookies into ashes, and then they take the ashes and they put the ashes in the mix for the entire, body, for the entire church or whatever it is. So you're getting the burnt ashes of 3 cookies with only 1 drop of semen in it.
That just sounds kind of stingy.
I would probably try that.
Yeah.
They're like, you're great if you dip them in ranch.
This could use more semen.
Yeah. God, this is not salty at all. Whose fucking jizz did you use? Not mine. Mine just stinks, man. It smells like fucking old coffee. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't even drink coffee.
I love coffee.
I jerk off in the shower. We got to light a candle after I'm done because it stinks like someone pooped.
I can't jerk off in the shower.
Neither can I. Can't
I feel too weak
I can't.
afterwards.
Yeah, I can't do it standing up, man.
I just take a scalding hot shower. So after I'm done, I'm like fucking sweating and crying.
Dude.
My knees are wobbling. I'm like, oh god.
I feel like I am shortchanging myself when I ejaculate standing up on my feet. If I'm not lying down with no pressure on my knees,
with your ass in the air,
I feel like I'm shortchanging myself when I ejaculate.
Right. I feel you.
But when I come, I don't come like a normal person. Like I don't like I shout, take my breath away. The song, like from Days of Thunder, I just scream it. Like, take my breath away. But it's really beautiful the way it comes out. I'm coming.
Right.
My wife loves it. She actually asks me to sing it when we're not having sex. I'm like, no, that's part of the deal. You gotta have sex with me in order to hear the song.
That's why it was your wedding song.
Exactly. That's kind of how it goes down.
Yeah.
Now they also believe in the essentially, we're going to call it gnosis, Gnosis.
Yeah.
It's another state of consciousness. We're talking about thelema here. You need to reach in order to affect change in the energy of the world, whether that be. So I can skip past all this reading here.
Okay.
Because in a nutshell, what he practiced, one of his practices was, all right, this is fucking awesome, dude. In order to reach the outcome that you would like to reach, in order for you to achieve a certain goal, say you want...
I just like your analogies with pizza.
Right.
You're breaking it down.
Say you want a free fucking pizza. You want
Yeah.
a free cheese pizza. What Aleister Crowley says, you fucking jerk off. Not like anything else. You fucking masturbate, okay?
Okay.
You just jerk off.
Crank it out.
Until you cannot jerk off anymore. Until you are emotionally gone. Until you have reached the brink of your body giving up on you. You jerk off until you have no other senses.
Until you have chapped dick skin.
Until your fucking wiener looks like a peeled back sardine can. The
Looks like
skin's falling
Freddy's
off.
face.
All it is dangling down there is a fucking tree root. All the skin's gone. The head popped off an hour ago.
It looks so sad.
But you beat your dick into an utter oblivion.
All right.
You reach this heightened sense of awareness. And that's how you can concentrate all of your focus to get the free pizza. Okay? You have to completely strip yourself of all of your senses. And the only way of doing that, it's not by meditating, it's feverishly masturbating until your body can't fucking carry on anymore. To reach the dark pit of despair of masturbation. I've been there a few times when I was a teenager. I'm thinking, if I jerk off one more time, my body's going to stop living. Let's fucking try it.
Some bones are going to come out.
Science experiment. But that's one of the things that he believed in.
I've done worse for a free pizza.
That's how you get what you want.
I mean, hey.
Exactly. Let's try it right now. If my age right now, 2 times is all I would need. Yeah. Unless I had a blue chew. Then I could probably go 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. That would double the outcome.
Go check them out. BlueChew.com. Promo code Brohio. Now, that's, yeah. But he kind of got away after this. Well, Aleister Crowley, he got away from the magic for some time after this. He got back into mountain climbing, where he would go on to climb
Kanchenjunga,
which is K2. That's the mountain they call it, K2.
K2.
Which is the most treacherous mountain in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So on this mountain climbing trip, all of these guys, this team that went up with him, they fucking hated him. He might have been trying to fuck all of them. I don't know what. But these fellow mountain climbers, they hated Aleister Crowley. Okay?
They're halfway up the mountain, and he's like, do you want to see a magic trick?
Yeah, how would you like to see my phallus? You guys want some cake? Hey, did you think that cake you had us eat the other night tasted kind of funny? I was chewing on it, and it was like a fucking corn kernel, and I spit it out. It smelled like shit, bro. I think he made us eat shit. That seems like a nasty trick, doesn't it?
Right.
But these guys in this mountain climbing excursion, they hated Aleister Crowley to the point that they were just like halfway up the fucking mountain, like you said.
Can we leave him?
And they're like, fuck you. Fuck this trip. We're going back to the base of the mountain. And Aleister Crowley's like, hold on. He reminds me of Snape.
Snape, yeah.
That's who he reminds me of. He's like, hold on. We must keep climbing. And these guys are like, no, we fucking hate you. You're an idiot. You're an imbecile. You're disgusting. We're going back. And Aleister's like, if you go back, you will all die. And that's what he told them. That they went back down the mountain. The conditions were so unfavorable that they wouldn't be able to make it back down the mountain without fucking essentially perishing. So these guys did not heed the warning. Okay? They're like, we hate you.
They wanted to get away. They risked death to get away from him.
We fucking hate you so much. We're going back down. So they go back down the mountain. An avalanche kicks off in that motherfucker.
Oh, man.
An avalanche comes down, squashes all these guys. They're still alive after they get squashed. And Aleister can hear them screaming. Like, they're like, we know you. He said you're a fucking retard, but come help us. And Aleister's like, I will not use my magic to save you. And these guys all essentially, they died there from the avalanche while Aleister listened to their cries, and he just kept on
sitting on the ledge. He's projecting an astral ball of light, cooking a hot dog on it.
He's just maintaining his position in a tent or whatever he's doing. He just
I'm roasting a wiener here, so sorry.
I tried to suck all of your dicks and you wouldn't let me do it.
I don't like them when they're frozen.
So they died because, and then from then on in the mountain climbing community, not that it's a big one. I looked for some closed groups on Facebook, Mountain Climbers Anonymous or whatever, kind of like Butt Chuggers Anonymous.
Anonymous, like.
We don't want people to know climb fucking mountains. It's dangerous, man.
Man, it is.
And they all died. And it became well known in the mountain climbing community that Aleister Crowley was a piece of fucking shit, and everyone hated him.
They should have listened.
And they kind of shunned him from. No one would go on these excursions with him anymore.
Nobody will mountain climb with me anymore.
So Rose, his wife, and his daughter. He did have a daughter this time named Lilith, of all fucking names. They met him in India after the climb, where they spent some time before being forced to leave India after shooting an Indian man who tried to, quote, mug him. Crowley and his family decided to tour southern China. This trip to China was orchestrated as part of a British intelligence scheme to monitor the region's opium trades. Crowley smoked a whole bunch of fucking opium throughout the journey.
Of course he did.
And it's said that he was working with the British government. They were trying to get into the cracks and the crevices of the Chinese opium trade. So he was doing some stuff for the government there, man.
Hey, man.
Upon arrival in, so he kept on going with his travels, and Rose and Lilith went back to Great Britain. So he continued to travel the world. I think he went to New York briefly during this time, where he met a female follower that was really big into the shit, the Thelema and all that, eating jizz and cake and fucking sucking on dirty phalluses.
Yeah.
All this nasty stuff they were into. But he hung out in New York for a little bit, but then he made it back to Great Britain. And upon arriving back in Great Britain, Crowley learned that his daughter Lilith had died of typhoid in Rangoon, not crab rangoons. Those are fucking delicious.
God, they're so good.
But in Rangoon, India, something he later blamed on Rose's increasing alcoholism.
Damn it.
So he said, "You drunk bitch." She was a blubbering fucking raging drunk.
I mean, married to a magician. What? Yeah. I think that's how it goes.
He's wilding in the king's chamber there in Egypt, and she's just like, I need a fucking beer. I need a Corona.
If he pulls one more phallus out of his ear.
Under intense emotional distress, his health began to suffer, and he underwent a series of surgical operations.
Oh, geez.
He began short-lived romances with actress Vera, quote, Lola Neville, or
that's a sexy name, I'm not going to lie.
And author Ada Levinson. They talk about all these celebrities. I'm like, I literally have no fucking idea.
Well, this is like the 1800s or the early 1900s.
Anytime someone talks about an actress from like the early 1900s, I just think about the chick standing on top of the Empire State Building while King Kong butt fucked her. That's the only...
I want to look her up.
Okay. What's her name?
If my phone doesn't die here.
All right.
Vera Lola Neville.
While Rose gave birth to Crowley's second daughter, Lola Zaza, in February of 1907. How's she look? She wasn't real, was she? She looked like a fucking tuna boat captain.
I haven't found her yet.
Okay, there she wasn't real.
I don't think she was.
Now, at this point, they had the second daughter, Lola Zaza, in February 1907. Rose was a fucking mess. She was a slobbering drunk. She couldn't hold anything together. And in 1909, Crowley divorced his wife on the grounds of her alcoholism. The divorce enabled Crowley to indulge in his passions for magic, drugs, and women unchecked by the constraints of married life. And eventually, 2 years later, in 1911, his ex-wife, Rose, was institutionalized, but she also had full custody of their daughter. So she's institutionalized. Crowley wants nothing to do with his kids. And that alone, I think you, Mr. Crowley, can suck a fat fucking cock, and you suck. Right?
Yeah.
Now, after she died, I think she eventually did pass away, he kind of floated from city to city with a bunch of different girlfriends along the way. He called these girlfriends his Scarlet Women. There was a lot of different women that he rolled with. I think they kind of all knew the name of the game, that he did his own thing. He did Aleister Crowley stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But he called these women the Scarlet Women. And in 1910, Crowley was contacted by the head of the German magical order known as the Ordo Templi Orientis, often referred to as the OTO, which he joined the order shortly thereafter, and in 1912 he became the head of the English-speaking branch of the OTO. And at this point, yeah, she was a hottie.
Mm-hmm.
She was good.
Yeah.
At this point, his inheritance that he had planned to live his entire life on was starting to fucking run out.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, man. So Crowley was officially using his beliefs professionally. One client was Judge Montague Bennett, 7th Earl of Tankerville. Tankerville sounds like a really good place to go and get fucked up.
No, yep, exactly.
Tankerville was a paranoid drug addict, and for most of his life, Crowley was not a drug addict, but he smoked a lot of marijuana and hashish and opium.
He partook.
It progressed, but Tankerville was a paranoid drug addict, was convinced that his own mother was trying to use witchcraft to kill him. So what did he do? He hired Crowley for help. He said, I've got a real big problem with my mom. I think she's a fucking I think she's a witch. So he hired Crowley to keep his mom off of his back. Here he is. He's the fucking Earl of Tankerville, and he needs a magician to protect him from his witch mom. What a fucking life. But even Aleister Crowley, well, Big Gay Al, had sense enough to say, listen, you're on drugs bad. You're fucked up. No one's trying to fuck with you. So Aleister took him on a vacation away from his family, and during the vacation, he was able to get the Earl of Tankerville help with his drug addiction using the rituals of Thelema.
Earl of Tankerville. That's so fucking cool.
My name's Earl of Tankerville. I drink Busch Light.
Just drunk as fuck all the time.
I think I soiled my pants. I think I might have shit my tidy whities. The only way I can tell if I shit my tidy whities, they sag down a little more than they normally do. I don't even really feel the shit no more. I think I pissed myself too. Now, one cool aspect of Aleister Crowley was a specific house.
Yeah.
And the huge influence it had on Led Zeppelin. This is the Boleskine House. And Rob's going to tell you about the Boleskine House.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about it here. This was home of Aleister Crowley and Jimmy Page, who was the guitar player for Led Zeppelin. This is where they wrote Sweet Home Alabama. This home that's the home's claim to fame pretty much, is that these two lived there. There's a lot of crazy shit that happened there.
Not at the same time though.
Not the same time. Yeah, they didn't party it up
Jimmy
there.
Page was obsessed with Aleister Crowley.
He was a huge fanboy, and he collected a lot of his work, artwork, like things like that, and he was just all about him. Some Zeppelin songs are about him. Now, but it was built on the same grounds, allegedly, where there was a 10th century church that was there and ended up burning down during service, and it killed everyone that was inside of the church.
Damn, no exit signs in that motherfucker.
Hell no. They had that bitch locked up tight. So this house is on the east side of Loch Ness in good old Scotland, and it also overlooks the Boleskine Cemetery. Now, what's really unique is that this the Boleskine house, which I'll call it the manor because it's pretty much like it's a huge mansion. It has a tunnel in the cellar, and this tunnel leads to the graveyard. Right to the graveyard. And potentially they say it was there so that the house guard or the manor guard could watch out for body snatchers that would go into the graveyard.
Oh, that's fun.
And they could have access to hurry up and get to the manor owner and tell him, like, there's people fucking corpses out here.
They're out there stealing all the buttholes.
In 1899, Crowley purchased the manor, and he bought it because he was, at this time, this is when he was really getting into practicing magic, and part of, and this is the book of sacred magic of Abramelin the Mage.
Abramelin, I've had that before. A little salt on it, it's delicious.
Yeah, part of this was that he had to study this and practice this in a place that's not necessarily, everything was kind of off the grid back then, but out of the way. He had to be kept by himself to really focus and really get his work in.
Get that phallus going.
Yeah. So like I said, this is where Crowley began to gain all of his fame from his black magic. So got a little copy and paste job I did here, so that's why I highlighted it. But it was a pretty good part, so I'm going to read this. It says, according to Crowley in his book, The Confessions of Aleister Crowley, in order to perform the operations, this is in quotes, the first essential is a house in a more or less secluded situation. There should be a door opening to the north from the room of which you make your oratory. Sounds like a place you shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like something you'd have a fucking dildo shoved up.
Right. Outside this door, you construct a terrace covered with fine river sand. This ends in a lodge where the spirits may congregate.
Oh, good.
The purpose of this ritual is to invoke one's guardian angel. It requires at least 6 months of preparation, celibacy, and abstinence from alcohol.
Count me out.
Right. However, it also includes the summoning of the 12 kings and dukes of hell to bind them and remove their negative influences from the magician's life. So, to go forward a little bit, Crowley had a mentor, which we mentioned a little while ago, Samuel Mathers. During this time, Crowley was, during the time he was completely balls deep in this black magic, Mathers actually summoned him to the Order of the Golden Dawn. And when he was summoned, he did not dispel the 12 Kings and Dukes of Hell spell. And allegedly, this led to a long history of evil spirits being in this manor.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so Crowley says that, himself, that the rituals that he was performing in this place were getting out of hand.
Oh, good.
So at least he knew his work was good.
I believe I've fucked up.
He's like, now I should leave.
I believe I've shattered.
So Crowley's housekeeper had 2 kids, a 10-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son.
Oh, God bless that person.
And while they were in the house after he was away, the 2 kids mysteriously and abruptly died.
God.
He also would talk of an employee of the house who had gotten drunk and tried to murder his entire family. 1913, he leaves the house. And then 1965, there was an army major who was the owner of the house at the time. And he committed suicide by shooting himself with a shotgun.
God damn.
Next, you have a newlywed couple who moved into the home. The wife was blind, and after just a month of being there, the husband completely left, leaving the wife in the house, blind, couldn't see anything.
I hate that.
Isn't that the fucking worst?
Old John Cena up in that motherfucker.
So then, oh, damn it. So then in 1970, you cue in Jimmy Page. He gets the house.
The lead guitarist of fucking
Van Halen.
Led Zeppelin. One of the greatest guitarists of all time.
Right, yeah. He buys the house. I think it was I think they either put up for sale or he saw it at an auction, something of the case. Like I said, he was extremely fascinated with Aleister Crowley, so that drew his attention. He bought it. He only stayed there for a little bit and actually just kept it to keep it, and he let one of his friends and family stay there while he was out and about. So he pretty much just like, hey, I'm not going to stay here. You can kick it there and party with the ghosts. So the family would often tell people that, that they could hear different things, whether, the different spirits. They'd hear the groaning and these unexplainable creaks, and allegedly they saw spirits as well. But this wasn't really the thing that bothered them about the house. They had a really hard time dealing with the amount of Aleister Crowley and Jimmy Page fanboys that would often attempt to break into the home and destroy the grounds.
Jesus.
But yeah, and then I think it was 2005. I think there was a fire there,
burned it down,
something like that. Yeah, and the entire inside of the house got burnt. They said throughout the years that the house is pretty much in horrible, shitty shape, anyways.
Yeah. Jimmy Page, he opened up a bookshop.
Yeah.
In the UK somewhere, I don't know where. And it was specifically to carry all the writings of Aleister Crowley. He wanted a place for people to be able to so he really, the entire group really was fixated on this guy. They would oftentimes use secret symbols. I know in a lot of their album covers, because they didn't have, they didn't title their albums. I think
they were just like 1, 2, 3.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, they're Roman numerals.
We call them 5. Led Zeppelin 6, whatever. And they would have these like signs that were signs, different, pentagrams and weird things, and they would each have them as their character, and no one really knew what they meant, but they were all derived from something to do with Aleister Crowley.
Right.
And there's certain things that it was like just weird cult stuff where they were completely sold out to this Aleister Crowley, whatever he was into, that the mainstream wasn't really sure of what was going on, I guess.
They bought into it really hard.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. And there was, I think one of the symbols used meant something really fucked up and really dark. And it's a symbol that Jimmy Page used, and the only person that knew what it meant was Robert Plant.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was his name, right?
Yeah.
The lead singer.
Lead singer, yeah.
And to this day, Jimmy Page still won't talk about certain things that has to do with Aleister Crowley. He just refuses to talk about it. It's just a weird, touchy subject for him.
Weird.
It's a very weird. But and I'll touch on a little later the God damn, an hour and a half. Fuck, I might be touching on much more. Now, he lived in the U.S. from 1914 until 1919. Arriving in New York City, he moved into a hotel and began earning money writing for the American edition of Vanity Fair and undertaking freelance work for the famed astrologer Evangeline Adams. In the city, he continued experimenting with sex magic through the use of masturbation, female prostitutes, and male clients of Turkish bathhouses.
What?
All of these encounters were documented in his diaries, and his diaries are fucking weird, dude.
He's like Doug Funny, just sitting there writing fucking diary.
Dude, like if they asked you, like, where's the last place you would want to go to be fucked in the ass? I would be like, probably a Turkish boathouse. For sure.
Bathhouse.
Yeah.
Turkish bathhouse.
Oh, yeah, Turkish bathhouse.
It's even worse.
Even worse. Listen, I don't like mustaches. They freak me the fuck out. You're in a Turkish bathhouse.
I just picture just a guy with a huge mustache holding the water spigot thing, spraying you down. You like that?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
This is water too warm.
Tickle my mustache on your asshole. He finally was completely broke at this point, and he moved back into London in 1920. He was labeled a traitor because the help he was giving the Germans while in America, he was writing for certain propaganda outlets that supported the Germans, and fucking cursed the people from Great Britain, the Brits, and he had clearly drawn a line in the sand, and he was for the German cause.
Of course he would be.
Yeah, but this wasn't Hitler.
This is before.
Yes, this is before Hitler.
Yeah.
And now he when he made it back to London, he started suffering from severe asthma attacks, and the doctor prescribed him heroin.
Okay.
To which he soon became addicted.
Yeah, of course.
The doctor's like, I don't think the Coca-Cola Classic's going to cure this one. We may have to give you some heroin.
I don't think they had Narcan back then, so he's fucked.
Don't Narcan me, bro. And that's what these crackheads, they're like, hey, can you give me $5? I'm like, no, but you can with Narcan. You can do anything. Anything's possible with Narcan. And at this point, he started the Abbey of Thelema. Now, the Abbey of Thelema, Crowley had an idea of forming a community of Thelemites, which he called the Abbey of Thelema. It was a house, like a cottage. It was like a fucking Jonestown type thing. He was wanting to start this huge settlement of just people that practiced Thelema. They wore robes and performed rituals to the sun god Ra at set times during the day, also occasionally performing Gnostic Mass. The rest of the day, they were left to follow their own interests. He offered a libertine education for the children, allowing them to play all day and witness acts of sex magic.
This sounds like a pretty sweet setup. I like this.
Sounds fun. Just let the kids watch us butt fuck each other. Now, there's wild cats and dogs that wandered all throughout the building, which soon became unsanitary.
Just pissing and shitting all over the place. Cats fucking dogs and all.
Now, there's a couple by the name of Raoul Loveday and his wife, Betty May, and they moved to the Abbey. While Loveday was devoted to Crowley, the Betty May, the wife, completely detested him and fucking hated her life at the commune. She later said that her husband, Raoul Loveday, was made to drink the blood of a sacrificed cat.
Oh, poor puss.
And that they were required to cut themselves with razors every time they used the pronoun I.
What? That's so strange.
I gotta take me a shit. Grab the blade. There must be blood. You can't say I. God damn.
Wow.
Loveday eventually, the husband, drank from a local polluted stream,
probably on purpose,
soon developing a liver infection resulting in death in February of 1923.
That's so weird.
Returning to London, Betty May, the wife, told her story to the press. John Bull, the magazine, proclaimed Crowley, quote, the wickedest man in the world, and a man we'd like to hang.
Oh, God.
And although Crowley deemed many of their accusations against him to be slanderous, he was unable to afford the legal fees to sue them because he fucking traveled the world.
Yeah, blew all of his inheritance.
Addicted to heroin, addicted to cocaine, and he just didn't have any more fucking money.
Yeah.
The fascist government of Benito Mussolini, because this was actually the Abbey Thelema was in Italy, learned of Crowley's activities at the Abbey of Thelema, and in April of 1923, he was giving a deportation notice forcing him to leave Italy. Without him, the Abbey closed.
Man.
So the
dominoes just fell into place.
He bounced around like a fucking butt plug ping pong ball for the rest of his life, doing all kinds of just here and there. At one point in the 1930s, he faked his own fucking death just to see what people would do, which we've all thought about doing.
Man.
Sometimes I get really mad. I'm just like, I wonder if people would even fucking cry if I died. And I just want to go to my own funeral and see if, fucking people would come or not. You just want to know. You just want to know what your funeral would be like.
Yeah. You know how many times a day I think of driving my truck into like an overpass bridge? Like,
don't do it, bro. There's hope.
Man.
There's help out there. We can get you help, man. Just like if you're out there, you need help, we can get you help. But he decided that he was going to fake his own death, and he just wanted to see how people would react to it. And it wasn't quite the reaction that he wanted.
No one gave a shit.
Right. So
he's like, I'll come back.
Yeah. On December 1st of 1947, he was living in like a boarding house type place in London.
Living in Hey Arnold's upstairs.
Crowley died at Netherwood of chronic bronchitis aggravated by psoriasis and myocardial degeneration at the age of 72. They said he had, in the later stages of his life, he had many surgeries on his nasal passages because he was so fucked up from so much cocaine.
All the blow?
Yes.
Yeah.
that he just had to keep on having all kinds of surgeries.
He had like no septum at all.
Right, exactly. His funeral was held at a Brighton crematorium on December 5th. About a dozen people attended. And Louise Wilkinson read excerpts from the Gnostic Mass, the Book of the Law, and Hymn to Pan. The funeral generated press controversy and was labeled a black mass by the tabloids. Crowley's ashes were sent to Carl Germer in the U.S., who buried them in a garden in Hampton, New Jersey, which he lived in Hampton, New Jersey briefly. And some people say if Aleister Crowley was such an educated and accomplished occultist, why did he die a penniless heroin addict? And I saw this on Reddit. They said, if you want to take the ride, you got to buy the fucking ticket. Cool as that.
That is pretty sweet.
He bought the fucking ticket.
Yeah, he did. What they didn't talk about is whenever he was cremated, like right when they got him in there, his body temperature got too hot, and then he popped, and then doves went everywhere. This is his last magic trick.
No, but when about the time he died, his doctor that had been prescribing him morphine for his asthma and bronchitis said, "All right, no more. I'm cutting you off." And he quit. He wouldn't give him another prescription for this shit.
Yeah.
So 24 hours after he cut Crowley off from these medications, this doctor fucking died. And it's rumored that shortly before Crowley's death, he had refused, like we said, he refused the prescription, and Crowley placed a curse on him.
Hell yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed off too if I was him.
Yes, very, very scary shit. And we go, and I also touched on there's so many songs that are a huge influence. They're influenced greatly by Aleister Crowley. Stairway to Heaven. Jimmy Page and Robert Plant were at the Boleskine house, and this is where they wrote Stairway to Heaven. And Robert Plant said, he spoke about this. He said, I had no recollection of us writing the song. They did a dictation that Jimmy Page felt like, he was playing music. It was some type of divine fucking whatever.
Well, they stole the song first off, but
Stairway to Heaven?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Half their songs were ripped off from other people. They were like they're like the greatest cover band in history, pretty much.
I like them. I think they're good.
Stairway to Heaven's been proven that they stole the riff off of somebody else.
When you ask them, they say that the lyrics from Stairway to Heaven.
Okay, that I don't know about.
He said that this is a dictation that something had come over him, Robert Plant, and that he didn't write the words of Stairway. That there's some kind of higher power guiding him through that song that wrote that song at that place. So they have a huge. They get a lot of inspiration from Aleister Crowley. The cover of Sgt. Pepper's album by the Beatles. The Beatles fucking suck, Jerry Pauly. Sorry, dude.
I knew the Beatles were big into him.
They had on the cover. They put people they liked and admired, and Paul McCartney said of Sgt. Pepper's cover, "We're going to have photos on the wall of all our heroes." And I think John Lennon wanted to put Adolf Hitler on that cover, and I think Paul McCartney said, "No fucking way, we're not doing that."
Yeah, good call, McCartney.
Other people who embraced the teachings of Crowley is Ozzy Osbourne, called Crowley a phenomenon of his time. Ozzy even had a song called Mr. Crowley.
Yep.
And the lyrics go, "You fooled all the people with the magic. You waited on Satan's call. Mr. Crowley, won't you ride my white horse?" On the back cover of the Doors 13 album, Jim Morrison and the other members of the Doors are shown posing with a bust of Aleister Crowley. It's Aleister Crowley bent over at the waist with his butt cheeks spread completely apart.
I thought it was Aleister Crowley with his titties out.
David Bowie referred to Crowley in his song Quicksand from the album The Man Who Sold the World. Iron Maiden lead singer Bruce Dickinson said, "We've referred to things like the Tarot and ideas of people like Aleister Crowley. Their song, The Number of the Beast, said 666, the number of the beast, 666, the one for you and me. Crowley was indeed the beast." Now, Daryl Hall of the famed rock and roll band Hall & Oates, he admits that he follows Crowley. So they get the Hall & Oates. And another one that was kind of strange to me was Sting. Sting, formerly of the Police, He spent many hours studying Crowley's writings. And then last but not least, old Marilyn Flatspot Manson wrote the song Misery Machine, contains the lyrics, "We're going to ride to the Abbey of Thelema." The Abbey of Thelema being the temple of the Satanist we know as Old Big Gay Al.
Yeah, he's a huge inspiration for rock and roll.
Many people. Jesus Christ, how did we
That's like a who's who of...
How the fuck did we get an hour and 40 minutes out of this?
I have no idea.
All week long, we're like, man, I hope we can get a full episode out of this. We still have to drop an interview on top of that.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. It's been a fun episode.
It's been a wild ride.
It's been a wild ride.
Old Aleister, he's a dirty phallus motherfucker.
Yeah, he is.
If you want to leave us a review on iTunes, we'd sincerely appreciate that.
Yeah, check us out on YouTube.
Check us out on YouTube.
Check us out everywhere.
Check us out right here. I'm going
right.
to take my pants off.
Yes, I can't wait.
See you guys next week.
Subscribe to PewDiePie.
Fuck him. Brohio Podcast, @Brohio Podcast.
Bye, guys.
Bye.